Hi everybody, it's our weekly updates about AI, and this week we've seen a lot of exciting updates. On the top right, there is a quote from Derek Austin: "Remote jobs get 1,000 applications each," which makes it really difficult to apply for jobs, but this is the reality which some people don't realize. I actually provide a link to his article where he recommends when you filter for jobs, look for recent postings and apply only to recent postings which have not accumulated 1,000 yet. Then you have a higher chance to get through. Anyway, so the major event of this week, of course, is release of Meta Llama 3.1, which is a set of three models. Small model, 8 billion, 70 billion, and the largest one is 405 billion. So this happened on Tuesday, and just a reminder that last year in July of 2023, July 18th, it was a release of Llama 2, which started a revolution, which started an avalanche. Tens of thousands of models were created as derivatives of Llama 2. So now they come up with better models, with a set of models, and they also provide a set of tools to distill these models, to fine-tune these models to smaller size specialized models. Because what Meta wants to do, they want to be the platform, the universal platform that everybody is using, and there are billions of custom models, custom agents all over the world using their technology, which they provide for free. So it's free code, free weights for the model, everything is open source. Now, there was a lot of testing, and it looks like the larger model, the 405B model, is on par with GPT-4o and Claude 3.5 Sonnet, so it's right there on the top. So here are some tables comparing it. So this is Llama 405. And this is, we have Nematron, GPT-4, GPT-4 Omni, and Claude 3.5. And you see that they're very, very close. 128K context length for all three models. Before, Llama 3 had only 8 kilotokens. Now it's 128, which really makes it practical, right? Because you can put up to about 100 pages of text, process it at once on the input of the model. So yes, so this is great. Also, they are multilingual. Before, they were mostly English-based. Now they're true multilingual. They're also specially trained for coding, for reasoning, and for tool use. So they are much better models than Llama 3, which was released in April, and of course then Llama 2. So it's really good models. So open, free weights and code, a license that enables fine-tuning, distillation, and other models and deployment anyway. They actually added to the license explicitly that you can create derivatives and you can deploy anywhere. They also created Llama Stack, which is a set of tools and APIs. Lots of partners, including Amazon, Nvidia, Databricks, Grok, Dell, Azure, Google Cloud. So there is a whole bunch of links, and it was trained on 15 tera tokens on 16,000 Nvidia H100 GPUs, and it took 31 million GPU hours, and training cost was $500 million. It took several months, and also you can read how they did it. So there was basic training, and then there was supervised fine-tuning, post-training for code, math, multiple languages, and long context and tool use. So these are the size of the model if you use 4-bit quantization. So 405 billion parameters would create about 231 gigabytes of memory. I cannot run it on my Mac, but 70B, yes, some people have enough memory, and 8B, of course, everybody can run this model. Now, the pricing is very competitive. Octo.ai, for example, offers Llama 31405, which is a bigger model at 3 in and $9 out per million of in-out tokens. In comparison, GPT-4o is 515, and GPT-4 Mini, of course, is much smaller. I'll talk more about the prices because prices are not really known because there are multiple providers and like I don't know who to believe. But anyway, so how much hardware you need for this model? Well, if you have 2 bytes per parameter, so 405 times 2 bytes, it's 810 gigabytes. Well, in reality, you need a little bit more. So if you have Nvidia H100s, which is main card from Nvidia today, each card is 80 gigabytes. So you would need 16 of those. So you need two nodes, like node is a computer, each one with 8 NVIDIA H100s to run this model. Or if you use the new AMD Instinct MI300X, then it has 192 gigabytes, so you need just 5 GPUs. But this is not quantized at all, like this is the top quality. Yeah, this shows an example, like this is Llama 415 versus GPT-4, and blue is where Llama wins, this orange where GPT, when it loses, and this is where they're tying. So you see, it's really on the level. It's comparison with different models. There is a very good interview with Mark Zuckerberg where he talks about Llama 3.1, open source, agents, safety, relationship with government, international, and so on. I highly recommend to listen to it. Here's the link, and here's the article, and here's the topics of this interview. But the main vision, again, is that you have meta llama models, which is like the crude oil, like, which is the ore which can be used with tools to distill and fine tune to specific goals, and you will have billions of custom models and personalized AI agents running around the globe. This is words from his mouth. Mark Zuckerberg's. So this is his vision. So he believes it's not about a few big providers providing big models, but rather it's everybody is using their own models, which are derived from some basic open source models using open source tools. So this is a complete change of how the game is played. So here is a little bit of pricing. So for example, Llama 3.145B, I found different prices. For example, $6, and here it is million input plus million output tokens. So $6. On Grok, it looks like less than $2. And by the way, it's very fast, 250 tokens per second. 70B is $1.27, 8B is just less than 20 cents. In comparison, GPT-4o is $20, GPT-4 Turbo $40, 3.5 Sonnet $18, and Opus $90. So you see that open source is much cheaper. And if 4 or 5B is on the same level as this top model, then the question is why you need to pay for them. So this is a huge hit financial for the providers like OpenAI and Claude. I mean, this is a battle, like a serious battle. Now, this is a very interesting graph. This is from this tweet. Well, I actually don't know the origin. I didn't track it. But you see that these are closed source models and these are open source models, and now they meet. So open source models reach the same level, And after that, probably will happen what always happens, that open source will continue winning and closed source will continue losing. Okay, next model which was released is Mistral Nemo Instruct. So this is Nvidia and Mistral together. They released the model. It is 12 billion parameters. And it is basically a drop-in replacement for Mistral 7B, which is a very famous model. So it has Apache license, it's Pretraining and Instruct. It has 128K context window, which is again improvement because original one was a very small window. The latest in May, version 3 of Mistral was 32K input. Now they expanded it to 128K. It's multilingual, it's trained for coding, yeah, it has 12 billion parameters, and the size of the file, quantized for 4 bits, it's only 7 gigabytes. That means you can run it on any laptop. Now, in order to run this model, you need to update Ollama to the latest version. I spoke earlier how to do it. On Windows, you can just right click and see that there is update and just click on update. But on Linux and Mac, you have to run a sequence of commands. And after you do that, well, you can Google for it or look at my previous lectures. And you can do Llama run Mistral Nemo, and then you'll have this model. And in fact, I have it installed. So if I go to my prompt and do that, Ollama run Mistral Nemo. So just to show that this is true, it's already available. And make above translation. Okay, I'm doing some translation from Russian here. Okay, let me just. Why is the sky blue? And you see that it's fast, it's running on a laptop, like it's good, like everything is good about it. Anyway, bye. So next, Stanford STORM AI. This is an interesting project. There's a video which explains it. It writes Wikipedia posts. So this is example of a research system. So you give it a theme, a topic, and it will go on the internet, find, research all information, and create a Wikipedia post for you. Mem0, another interesting project. It's a platform to maintain memory across sessions. Next, University of California, LA, UCLA, found that AI tool identified prostate cancer with 84% accuracy compared to 67% accuracy detected by physicians. So not only AI is on par with humans, but it's actually much better than humans in medical diagnostics. Okay, President Trump and his team, they're very serious about AI. And so this is their slogan, make America first in AI. Researchers from Cambridge University have developed an AI tool that can predict the progression of Alzheimer disease with over 80% accuracy using speech data. So this is quite amazing. Just using speech data, they can predict the disease. OpenAI is still looking for partners to design its own custom chips. Well, this was going on for a long time. Nvidia is developing new chip called B20, and this is because of US export regulations, which prohibit them to export their main chips. So they created different chips specifically for Asian market, and they sell billions of them. And next, Apple DCLM base 7B model. Well, it's a small model. The context length is only 2K, but it's open source. It was trained on a lot of data, and it's not usual for Apple to actually release things in open source. So I just wanted to mention that. Window.ai, API. So it's a new Google Chrome API, currently only available on Chrome. Native AI models that are run locally and completely offline. SKILD.AI. So this is a startup, and they're developing well, basically an operating system like a brain for a robot. And they raised hundreds of millions of dollars, and the evaluation is 1.5 billion. Triplex. This is state-of-the-art LLM for knowledge graph construction, and they're operating uh, like triplets. For example, Paris is capital of France, so city Paris, capital of country France. So they make those constructs and they create graphs from knowledge. Llama tool calling. Yeah, this is really interesting. So first of all, I'm using Ollama every day, but many people maybe don't know what Ollama is. It's actually a company which was registered a year ago, and their founders are Jeffrey Morgan and Michael Chang. It was founded in Toronto, Canada, and uh, it is a system to run models, multiple models, right? And now they added tool calling, not for all models, but only for models which support it, which includes Llama 3.1, Mistral Nemo, and some other models. And this can be used for functions and APIs and web browsing, code interpretation, and so on. So to have model call tools, you can provide a list of available tools via tools field in Llama API. The supported models will now answer with a tool call response in API. Tool responses can be provided via messages with tool role. And here, for example, on the GitHub, if we go here, so you see the example in Python, but they also have it in other languages. And you see that they create run response, and you have tools. So you actually can define, well, you could have done it before, but it was a little bit cumbersome. So they created specific calls, specific syntax to do tool calling, which is quite useful. Okay, we definitely will use it. Nvidia Minitron 8B and 4B, it's a pruned version of Nematron for 15B. And this model, pruning means you're making the model smaller by removing pieces of the model which are not used much. So connections which are not important, nodes which are not important. And what they achieved, if you look at this graph, this is this model. So on the bottom, you have cost to train the model, and here you have the quality. And you see that you can achieve high quality with very, very little cost of training. So this is really practical, right? And they also show up to 16% improvement in these scores compared to training from scratch. Stability AI released the new stable video 4D model, and this is probably fun to watch. This is where their website, and this is the video which is created by the model. So you should see animated animals. Okay, Mistral released the new model called Mistral Large. It's only available on their website, La Platform. It's 128K, 123 billion parameters, but it is non-commercial license, so it can only be used for research. But it supports multiple languages, supports a lot of coding languages, and generally it's pretty good model. Andrei Karpathy, so this is a YouTube list with a lot of his videos. You can treat it as a tutorial on everything about neural networks and LLMs. It's actually pretty good if you follow this link. Yann LeCun, fine-tuned Llama 3.1 8B, which is the smallest model, blows GPT-4o mini out of the water on every task. There has never been an open model this small and this good. So this is his post and a lot of discussions But yes, it's very exciting. The Llama 3.1 release, it's very exciting. Pandas AI, and this is a really good project. Well, I love Pandas. So Pandas is a Python module to work with table structures, and this project where you can formulate your questions in human language and you can ask, you see, plot the histogram of countries showing for each one this something, use different colors for each, and you see it did a group by and created the graph just from you, like using natural language. What is the total sales for the top 3 countries by sales? Again, the total sales. Yeah, it's amazing. It's very, very useful. It makes data analytics fun. So it's great module. CARTE, pre-training and transfer for tabular learning. Again, this is how to work with table data. DeepMind's Alpha Proof and Alpha Geometry 2. So Alpha Proof scores silver in Math Olympiad. So this is the distribution, and these are all humans, and the model placed here. So at the top scores, quite an achievement. Okay, somebody is not muted. Let me check who is not muted. Okay, now everybody is muted. Good. OpenAI GPT-4o mini model instruction hierarchy. So it's a new technique to block ignore all previous instructions loophole. So the enhanced prioritization of system instructions over user prompts aims to address growing safety and trust concerns. Okay, OpenAI Search GPT. So OpenAI is now moving into something what Google is doing, so providing search with natural language interface. They're only testing it to a limited number of users. Microsoft is doing similar thing. They're adding AI-powered summaries to Bing search. Grammarly is dead. So it's a very interesting article, but it shows that AI intelligence on Apple makes Grammarly absolutely unnecessary, and that it actually works better than Grammarly. There was example to run models in browser. I tested it. It didn't work for me, so I decided not to talk about it. It's too early. Tenstorrent. This is a really interesting project. So imagine that you have a large language model which has 32 layers. And imagine that you put each layer on a separate chip. So you have 32 chips. And now imagine that you have good network from chip to chip to chip to chip through all the layers. So instead of using a central CPU or instead of using like central memory, you make it distributed. In reality, Tenstorrent, for example, Grayscale AI accelerator card, it has a grid of 12 by 12 Tensor cores, each containing 5 RISC cores, so a total of 720 cores. And well, it's not state of the art yet, but they're very promising technology. It's a very simple architecture. And yeah, the question is, why not? It's actually pretty good for long models, like worm-like models. Uh, so this is crowdsource arena leaderboard. So still GPT-4o is on the top now. They have 2 versions following Claude. Athene 70B. This is actually fine-tuned variation of Llama 3 70B, but you see it's actually higher than Llama 3 70B instruct. So this is interesting. This is the first time I see Athene. And DeepSeek, Gemma 2 27B, Minitron, Quen 2, which is a great model, Llama 2 9B, Llama 3 8B. So there is no 3.1 yet because it takes time to accumulate statistics, but probably next week we'll see how they are placed. And here is for coding. So this was for English queries only, and this is for coding. And Claude 3.5 Sonnet is still on the top, and followed by OpenAI and Google. And again, Athene and like pretty much the same. Okay, these are layoffs, and you see that layoffs are smaller than they were last year. Yeah, this is just a joke. Employees ask, well, you told us things will get better this year, but why firings? Revenues are increasing, productivity is at all-time high, and company says, well, take your pick. We've got cost-cutting efforts, strategic restructuring, unexpected macro environment, optimizing for growth, or, and this one is good, a renewed focus on AI. Yeah, and this is the link to this article, how to be an early why it is important to be an early applicant, because there are so much spam, so many applications for jobs online. Okay, we're close to the end. This is me. Thank you.